Hello, I'm Scott Bulkey here with Ashley Smashley Barrett ahead of her upcoming fight against Quinn Williams. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Nice to be here.
And how are you feeling ahead of the upcoming fight?
I'm feeling so excited. I can't wait to be back in there. Got a game opponent. Really excited about it.
And from what your social media posts indicated, you were able to achieve all your goals from last year. You got in there, you made your promotional debut. Unfortunately, the last fight didn't go your way, but it's just more lessons that you can learn from. How did you find 2024 as a competitor for you?
I felt great. I mean, I got to, make my pro debut and not only make pro debut, but for Invicta
Yeah,
and, got that multi-fight contract with them and everything. So it went even better than I could have imagined. I mean, obviously, lost my last fight, but still, I still gained so much knowledge and just benefited so much from that, even though I didn't, get the win. I still think that it worked out even better than I could have imagined.
and what was it about the in your last fight that didn't really seem to go as scheduled?
Well, obviously I didn't plan to lose,
Yeah,
but uh I definitely played into I think her strengths a little bit
yeah,
more than, I should have. I should have tried to keep it standing. That was kind of where I was finding more of my strengths. It was a close fight. I mean, she was a very skilled, tough opponent. You're fighting some of the top girls at this level, so I took that with me, realizing that this is a whole other level now than like, regional fights. You're fighting girls
yeah.
from all over the world, all over the country who are at, the top level. So kind of fighting at that pace too, just, going for almost 3 5-minute rounds, getting that knowledge, being dragged into deep waters, knowing that I've been in bad positions and fought out of it and then, been had to face that adversity before. So I know I've been in tough fights. And I know that I can hang in there with girls that are at this level. Just have to make those adjustments, which we've been working on for the past, 5 months since I had that fight.
And what has it been in part of your game that has improved the most since that last fight?
Well, I've been, working on my grappling because that was
Yeah,
obviously where I, lost in that fight, but also realizing that I have knockout power. Like I
yeah.
dropped my last opponent in the first round. Obviously, she got back up and recovered, but I've never dropped anyone in a fight like that before. So that gave me new confidence knowing that if I time it right, if I, use my skill and, technique, timing, that I can drop someone and hopefully eventually put them out and have them not be able to get back up. So working a lot on my striking and just having that confidence in my striking and overall game.
And what seems to be the goals heading into this year? What are you wanting to achieve?
Well, I want to get back in the win column,
Yeah,
against a tough opponent, show everybody who I am, show everyone that that last loss and define me. Even, my first pro fight doesn't really define me. I'm so much more skilled than I've been able to really show at this pro level. So I really, really want to showcase that against top level girls. I don't want to get an easy win or anything like that and be like, oh, that girl wasn't that good or anything like that. I want to be beating girls at the top level and kind of show people that I'm kind of undeniable.
exactly. And like you're saying, you are fighting the top of the best at Invicta. What have you made of Invicta so far? Obviously, it is a great platform for the female fighters to go into, knowing it is solely based on you guys to grow your brand.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Invicta is known to be a feeder to the UFC, along with other fight promotions. It helps you get that recognition. I've gained followers, I've gained supporters, haters, which means I'm doing something right if I have haters. Um, and just and getting fights against tough people, and it's just so professional. Everything is organized and you get like a schedule and stuff like that. So it's just getting that experience at the top level against
Yeah.
top girls in the world and in a real, pro well-known organization like Invicta.
And I feel like the one of the most well-known fighters to come out of Invicta to the UFC was Jennifer Maia. She has since came back and she is now the champion. What did you make of that fight?
That was a great fight. I was lucky enough that both of my fights were actually cards that Jennifer Maia was the main event.
Yeah.
And she's so inspiring to watch. She's so good. She's so skilled. So I'm not surprised that, she won that belt and that she's at the champion level. I can't wait to see what she does next. I don't, whether that's, just defending the belt, being the champ in Invicta, going back to the UFC, but definitely that shows the level of girls that are in this organization.
And obviously, your title is on the line this Saturday in the UFC flyweight belt. How do you see that fight playing out?
That's Shevchenko, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that one. I don't know. I always think that, never bet against Valentina Shevchenko. Uh, what's her name? Marion
Yeah,
Fiorot.
Marion Fiont, I think.
Yeah, she's real good too. I saw, her fight against Rose, who's former champion. Obviously, that was at, flyweight. Um, but I'm really excited for it. So I'm going with Shevchenko, but I wouldn't be surprised if Fiorot got the upset.
And do you feel like you're saying, Shevchenko seemed like an unbeatable force? Do you feel like that Alexa Grasso like trilogy has really showed a little bit of holes in her game?
Absolutely, yeah, because like you said, I thought she was unbeatable, and honestly, I underestimated Grasso going into that. I knew that she was good, but I was like, I don't know if anyone can beat Shevchenko though. And Alexa showed that, you know, twice. So uh, I really, I don't know. I think that it showed that everyone's human. Everyone does have holes in their game. I do think that she's one of the best in the world, if not, one of like the best female, other than Amanda Nunes. But yeah, I think that that was definitely shown. So I think that Fiora is probably kind of looking at that, realizing that she does have holes in her game. She is human, and she kind of probably knows in her game plan what she wants to go after.
And what do you make of Nunes? Because it does seem like indicating that she has wanted to come back, settle the score with Pena.
Yeah, I mean, she looks motivated and she looks like she's been in great shape. Just following her on Instagram and seeing her at like the press conference for the Harrison Nunes
Yeah.
fight, the videos there. So she looks motivated, and I mean, she's so good. She's so powerful. I would love it if she came back. And I know that Pena really wants that fight. She really, but I don't think that she's ever gonna beat Nunes again. That's just what I think. But I would love to see it. She's so good. I would always love to watch her fight.
They can just hold up the division while you just get gradually better and just then take over the reins.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
And what is the plan for after this fight? Are you wanting to get back in there at a quick return, or are you looking to spend some time off in developing?
I like to stay active. I really don't want too much time to go by. I would really like to get in there within, the next few months. Yeah, I don't like to sit still for too long, so I'd like to stay active.
I did see that the other day because you were trying to get, I think it was back in March, you were doing a jiu-jitsu, I think it was a jiu-jitsu fight. How is that what you're wanting to keep doing while you are waiting for fights, is the competitions?
Yeah, that was the plan. I was, trying to stay active with doing jujitsu, super fight, match type things, or tournaments and everything. But once this fight came along, obviously, you sign the
Yeah.
contract, you can't risk getting injured or, competing for anybody else. But I do like to do things like that. I like to stay active. Gives me something to think about, get me in that mindset when I'm training rather than kind of waiting around not knowing what's next. So yeah, I am interested in doing things like that.
And you feel like with fighters coming up the ranks, it is just important to stay as active as possible doing these competitions because it is just giving you that different look. It keeps that competitive spirit in you.
Definitely, because training in the gym, you can be training hard, but it's just you're not always going to be in that competition mindset. It's just
Yeah.
different when you have something to focus on. Even if you're telling yourself something could come along at any moment, it's not the same. And like you get used to like some of your training partners, you kind of get used to each other's game, so you kind of know how to like out better each other. But when you're competing against someone who you don't know them and they don't know you, it gives you a whole different perspective of what you need to work on, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. So it's just like a whole different level. And if you're wanting to be a fighter or competitor, I think it's important to be as active as you can.
And am I correct in saying you're currently training out of US MMA?
Yes.
And how has that been so far? Because I've seen that you do have quite a few people in a training camp.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I've been with them since I was 14 when I very first started, learned everything from them. And it's great because our team is kind of growing, especially
Yeah.
with the ladies. We have a few more girls who are interested in fighting, whether it's MMA or Muay Thai or just Jiu-Jitsu, but we all give each other different perspectives and training together. And it's obviously different training with a girl versus, training with guys all the time, because, you're fighting girls and, I'm a girl, so it's obvious. But it's good to get both. It's good to have kind of a nice team that's kind of has a mix of both, of men and women, and also fighters and non-fighters, because not everyone is a fighter, but there are people who are really, really skilled in the gym who
Yeah.
still give us really tough rounds. So it's good to get all those different perspectives and to have a growing team.
And how is it? 'Cause like you're saying, you've been there since you're 14. How is it seeing that gym just grow steadily?
Oh, it's been awesome. Like it's honestly, it's like a whole different world from when I first started. I feel like the sport has grown a lot too. So it's that, it
Yeah.
gaining the popularity. I feel like the gym has also gained, more, interest, more people wanting to pursue the sport now that the sport's growing so much. So it's been really cool to watch it grow and see more and more people come in and be interested and want to pursue fighting.
And how is it for the sport of women's MMA? Because obviously you have like the UFC who's promoting it big. Yeah, I think the Shevchenko is the co-main event. You have Combat Glory. Just recently they had a full card of just women. You have Invicta, who's just an organization fully of just women. And then you have obviously like the PFL, who did have that competition of just that women's division in there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I first started, I think women in the UFC was like kind of a new thing, and that was kind of when I first started to like learn about it with like Ronda Rousey and stuff like that. So it's just like it's a whole different world. It was like there probably wasn't as much opportunity, for women even on like local amateur levels, and now I feel like there's so much more interest in women's MMA. Like people like to watch women's fights.
Yeah.
There's way more, focus on it, and there's more like high level. There's not like, oh, there's one or two high level, women. It's like there's a lot of high level women now. So it's growing so much and it's getting competitive, So it's really, really exciting to see.
And who was it that was you were really looking up to as a pioneer when you were growing through the ranks steadily? Who are you looking into?
Definitely my own teammate, Hillary Rose, because, training from that age with, and looking up to another female fighter and kind of watching her make it, from amateur to the pro levels to now fight. She's actually fighting for a belt in, one of our regional
Yeah.
MMA scenes. Um, so just looking into her, even just as a teammate and, watching her grow and watching her train hard was really motivational to me. Obviously, Ronda Rousey, Misha Tate, all those early OG, Kat Zingano, all those, Amanda Nunes, there's so many. They were really inspiring to watch. So just kind of watching them and knowing that if they worked hard and they could make it, that if I did the same thing, that there's a chance I could end up like them.
What did you make of Misha Tate's performance last weekend?
I actually didn't see it, but I saw like some videos and it's a different level now. I think what was it, unanimous decision
Yeah,
loss?
yeah, it was like 29-28. She managed to nearly get her out there in the third with this mission, but it was just not enough time.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I know how good she is, so I'm sure,
Yeah.
she did her best and had some good moments.
But do you feel like that just shows is that age is steadily growing in the sport? It's no longer when you hit 30, that's it done. You are now having people like Piera, Misha Tate, Nunez maybe even coming it back into the picture, and she'll just kill off that division again.
Yeah.
But it just shows that the age of where it's now declining is starting to increase.
Yeah, definitely. I think that as the sport's growing too, I think that there's a lot of more focus on like strength and conditioning,
Yeah.
recovery, nutrition. Like it's not just like we're going in and brawling and like, not taking care of ourselves. So I think that there is more longevity in it. And women, I think, are probably peaking and kind of staying at that peak for a little bit longer, where, yeah, they can stay into this sport into their late 30s and even maybe early 40s. You see it happen more and more. So that's exciting to see.
And do you feel like you have got the benefit of you are starting your pro career rather young, so you have got that time to develop, be able to take like the defeats like you did in your last fight and be able to learn from them?
Yes, definitely. Sometimes, I feel like just as fighters, we feel like we should be, further ahead than we are. We should be,
Yeah.
better than we are. But I am glad that, like, at 24, 10 years from now, if I do things right, I could still be in the sport. I could be, reaching that top high level. So it does feel good to know that I do kind of have time. Um, but I am getting that tough competition early on rather than later on in my career.
You're now starting to look at the UFC prospects, and it is starting to be like around about the 30 age where you are seeing them now starting to break into that UFC. You've
Mhm.
got 6 years from where that would be, and you are facing these high level competitors already. How long do you feel like it could be, if as long as everything does go to plan, until we could probably see you get in there? Do you feel like maybe 5 more fights and then you probably start, as long as all goes well, maybe start and get like a chance of the contender series?
Yeah, that would be ideal. I mean, this is going to be my third professional fight.
Yeah,
So, five, 6 more fights. If I'm killing it, if I'm doing as
yeah.
good as I, believe that I can do, then yeah, I hope that contender series call, would be coming soon.
Well, is there anything else you're wanting to add or anyone you're wanting to shout out?
Just shout out to all my sponsors, everyone who's, helped me, all my teammates, my coaches, my family, of course. I'm probably going to leave people out that and then remember later, but everyone who helps me out, who just makes my life easier. I really, really appreciate them.
Well, make sure, I think I've got this correct. I think it's CBS in the States. Make sure to tune it into CBS to watch the Invicta 62 card. It's a card you cannot wait to miss out on. And you get to see Smashley get another victory. Hopefully,
Right.
another first round TKO.
That's right.
And it's definitely going to be a fight you do not want to miss. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.